Hi, I'm Morgan. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm just going to be chatting about some of the books that I got in the past couple months that I'm very excited about. I've never done a haul before, so this is the first one. Congrats, you're watching a first for me, and I'm going to do my best. So let's get started. The first two books I want to talk about, I didn't buy. They also aren't mine. I'm borrowing them. But I don't know when I'm going to give them back, so they are now effectively mine temporarily. And that is the first two books in the Eugenics trilogy from Star Trek. So if you don't know this about me, I love Star Trek, and I specifically love the original series. And I even more specifically love the Khan episode, Space Seed. You might know Khan because he was played by Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Trek Into Darkness. Spoiler, but that movie came out like 6 years ago, so it's a little late for that. But my favorite thing to do is marathon Space Seed, which is the original Star Trek episode, Wrath of Khan, which is the original Star Trek motion picture that had Khan in it, and then Into Darkness. And I just love it. So I was at my friend's house and talking to her dad about Star Trek, and he mentioned that he had these books. So the first two books in this series are about the eugenics war on Earth before the Space Seed episode. So this is like Khan's backstory, and then I believe the third book, which I need to somehow find, takes place after the episode, and it's about him and his people kind of repopulating, settling down on this planet. And I am really excited. I love Star Trek, I love Khan, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this kind of backstory. The next two books I actually bought from a secondhand bookstore in the beginning of April, and that is Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, and The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I had wanted to read this book for a really, really long time, but I couldn't figure out who it was written by because there is a narrative device in this story where there is actually another book written by like some other character, and this is like the abridged fun version of it. I really don't know, but it is written by William Goldman, and I am really excited. I didn't watch this movie when I was growing up, so I don't have that like specific nostalgia attachment to it, but I did watch it when I was in my mid-teens, and I sometimes just like get into that like cheesy classic fantasy mood where I just really want to watch The Princess Bride, and so I feel like I will enjoy the book, and I'm excited to read it. I forgot to mention, but the two Star Trek books are written by Greg Cox. Good Omens is a book that I have wanted to read for a really long time as well, and I believe this is about a demon and an angel who are trying to find the Antichrist who's been like misplaced, and that just sounds so fun. I also know that this was recently made into a movie on a TV show on Amazon Prime. It just came out, so I really want to read this and then watch that because it just sounds really cool, and I'm hoping to read this probably this month or next month. I haven't decided yet. Up next we have the real stars of the show, and that is the books that I bought from Book Outlet this month. So Book Outlet is a really cool like website where you can get discounted books that are excess product. So they're just like left over in the warehouses or something. I don't really know. But I bought 5 because I have no self-control, and I'm super excited to talk about them. The first one is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. So this is the book that Carry On by Rainbow Rowell is based on, and Carry On's one of my new favorite books like ever, and I love it. So I was told by a friend that I would really enjoy this one, and I'm really excited to check it out. I believe it is the story of a girl starting college, and she's just a super fan of this Simon Snow thing, and it's just about like a relationship that she starts maybe. I'm not really sure, but it looks just so super cute. It has sprayed edges, but they're kind of like uneven, and it also has fan art on the inside cover. Like, is that not gorgeous? And I also think there's some in the back cover. So I believe those are like the characters of the book, and this is just a really like nice like floppy paperback, and that's kind of like my favorite kind of book to read. The next book I got is Riverkeep by Martin Stewart. I've never actually heard anybody talk about this, but it just had a beautiful cover, which drew me in, and then the synopsis just sounded like so interesting. It's about a family that has always kind of taken care of this river. They've kept it clean. They've just, you know, tended to it over generations. And there is a son who is about to inherit the role of, what is it called? Riverkeep. That's the role. That's what it's called. And his father is sucked underneath the waves of the river by accident and returns kind of possessed by an evil spirit. So the son, and I forget his name as well, Williams, it's William with a U instead of an I in the first place. So Williams realizes that there's like a cure. He figures out there's a cure, but he has to travel up the river. So that just like sounds really cool. I believe there's like sea monsters and stuff that are in this. So I'm like really excited about this one. The next book was also one that I kind of just caught because of the cover, and it's called 13 Little Blue Envelopes. So it's by Maureen Johnson, which at the time I like forgot about this, but I think she also wrote the Truly Devious series, which I actually really want to read. So this was written a while before that. I think this was 2005 this was written in, but this tells the story of a girl named Ginny Blackstone whose aunt passes away, and a couple months later she receives a letter with a note from her aunt and enough money to buy a ticket to Europe. So she kind of has to go to Europe and on her own backpack around and find these letters and kind of learn a little bit about what her aunt is trying to tell her and how she's trying to connect with her. This just is like a really cute, short, contemporary read that I think I'm really going to enjoy. There's something about the premise that just really appeals to me. I think it's like a combination of this, like communicating with deceased loved ones combined with adventuring around the world and kind of being led on this chase. I've never seen the movie P.S. I Love You, but that's the one where the woman's husband passes away and he gives her letters kind of like telling her, reminding her to live her life. And I saw like the first 5 minutes of that and started sobbing and decided not to watch the rest of it. So I'm hoping this won't do that to me, but I am hoping that I do enjoy it. Up next are the two most exciting books that I got. So I don't know if I've said this on my channel before, but my favorite book like of all time is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and I bought this beautiful, look at how gorgeous this is. This is a beautiful like edition of it, paperback. I have a really nice Barnes & Noble, I think they are alphabet series. This was for B, they did Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre. And it's a hardcover, and I just really don't like holding it when I just don't like holding it, so I've never read it. And my original paperback copy is like falling apart so much that I'm scared to touch it. So I thought that it would be nice to buy myself a pretty new paperback version. And this is not only gorgeous, it's huge. It's so much thicker and heavier than I was expecting it to be, but I just love it. And on the back, it's this beautiful quote that says, "I had not intended to love him." And I just like love this book so much. I want to reread it this summer because it's been a couple years since I've read it, and this book just has my whole entire heart, and I just never talk about it. So I need to start reading it again and get through it and just rediscover all the things I love about it. And this is just so gorgeous, right? And finally, I have Mr. Rochester by Sarah Shoemaker. This is a retelling of kind of Mr. Rochester's life, who is, if you don't know, the main male character in Jane Eyre. So it's from his perspective, and it kind of retells his life, his encounter with Jane Eyre, and just like his relationships. I'm super excited about this one just because I love reading things that are from another person's perspective. So like not just like alternating perspectives, but specific, like if there's an entire book and then like the same exact book from somebody else's perspective who's involved with the story, like I am on that. I love it. I think it's so fun. So this is going to be super exciting for me to read. It's kind of big. It has deckled edges, which I am not a huge fan of, but I put in the extra money to get the hardcover because I liked this cover better than the paperback one. So that's the first time I've ever done that. It's just so pretty, and I'm very excited to get started on this one. And that is all 9 of the books I have acquired in the past couple months and weeks. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you think any of them are interesting or if you've read them and you think I'll like them. So I hope to hear from you, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye!